Hey everyone, it's Michael GoosebumpsFan. Happy Friday. I have another Series 2000 book review for you here. This one's a very well-known one that a lot of you guys have talked about to me for a long time. And frankly, I really loved this. I thought it was a great read, really solid, fun read from the Series 2000 era. This is Goosebumps Series 2000 number 24, which is the next to last that was ever released, the final one being Ghost in the Mirror. Haven't read that one yet. This is Earth Geeks Must Go. I've always loved this cover because of the spaceship, the very pulpy nature of it from like the 50s, and the little fella inside of it with the red and yellow eyes. He looks like Anakin when Anakin becomes a Sith Lord and ready to fight Obi-Wan on Mustafar. Anyway, I love the red. Oh, it's a beautiful cover, dude. One of the best of Series 2000. Anyway, what is Earth Geeks Must Go? Well, obviously it's like a space travel book, and maybe it is, maybe it's not. That's the thing. The cover kind of tells you that, and it kind of spoils a little bit of the story because of that, but not really. Not really. Anyway, let's get to the actual story itself. We have a kid named Jacob who goes to school one day, and he recognizes all of a sudden when he's looking at the board, the chalkboard, blackboard, whatever it is, that he can't read anything anybody's writing on the board, and some of the words that his teacher are saying, for example, like when he counts, for example, certain numbers in his counting, it's like Jacob can't understand what he's saying to him. It's almost like he's starting to go crazy a little bit. He's not really sure. And then he sees some other things. He starts to wonder after a little bit, after some of the horrific things he sees, especially at lunchtime when he goes to eat his lunch and realizes something's very different in this place that he's in. Even though the school looks like the same school he's always been to, even though the neighborhood looks like the same neighborhood he's always been to, he notices something is off. He starts to freak out a little bit. There's also an old man that keeps to, or just a man with a beard, that seems to be following him around a little bit, around the school and whatever, not in it, but outside of it. And he notices a younger girl who he becomes friends with, who apparently was watching him as well, and she seems to recognize that something's very different in their school and in their neighborhood where they're at. And he begins to realize, as well as she does, they have some kind of form of amnesia. They're not really sure what's going on with their life or where they're from or who they are, aside from their names. And that's really all I want to tell you. I really don't want to tell you too much. As the title indicates, Earth Geeks Must Go. There is a little bit of a sci-fi nature to the story, but not always. Most of the book is very small scale as an adventure, and if I had to compare it to some other alien stories out there, as a matter of fact, there are two within Series 2000 called Invasion of the Body Squeezers, Part 1 and Part 2. Not a big fan of those. This is a billion times better than those two books easily. And compared to a lot of the alien books out there, kind of like if you consider Bim from that one really bad Halloween special edition, I think it's a Most Wanted book or a Horrorland book. It's a Horrorland book. I think he's an alien. Bim, B-I-M, that one character. Anyway, I can't remember. When you compare it to other alien or science fiction-esque Goosebumps books, this is possibly the best of all of them. I mean, very possibly. I had heard things over the years. I had heard Earth Geeks Must Go were some of your favorite out there. Some of you had it in your top 3. Some of you even had it at your top 1 in the Series 2000 rankings you would leave me every once in a while in some of your comments. I actually saw one of my typical commenters say this the other day, that this was easily their favorite of the Series 2000 in one of my videos. And I'll tell you this. This was a great read. I really enjoyed this. I was really engaged. The plot might not seem like much, but I promise you, if you haven't read this book, you need to. If you're a big Goosebumps fan or a big Series 2000 fan, even if you're not into the dark, edgy stuff like I am, this book doesn't have too much of that. It has some, but not a ton. The tension building in here, the writing in here, the character writing in here, the plot twists in here are better than most of Series 2000, and if I may say, better than a lot of the OG 62 classic series twists and turns and endings and all of that. I thought this was a great read. Now, you could argue where it ends is a little debatable on whether people consider that satisfying or not. I thought it was fine. I really loved the book overall. I think it has so much going for it. It's a fantastic read. So far above average, dude. I would recommend this to literally anybody who loves books, who loves Goosebumps, who loves kids' books, who loves, kind of adventure stories, kind of a mystery situation. This is very much a mystery book, very much a lot of things you're starting to realize over time, and it even has a little bit of body horror in here. And I'm a big body horror guy, as you know. being a massive fan of Ghost Camp, being a massive fan of I Live in Your Basement from the OG 62 series. If you're a big body horror Cronenberg fan, you should read this book. This book has some things in here I guarantee you've never seen in anything ever. I promise you. Especially the cafeteria scene I mentioned. All that being said, though, I love the characters in this book. I really, really love the adventure they go on, the mystery, the tension building. It's kind of scary, the body horror stuff. All of that really culminates into a phenomenal read. I mean, a really, really, really good Goosebumps book. And then again, you can debate where the ending is at the end of the story, and whether you love that or not is up to you. But for me, I love this. I thought it was great. I thought it was one of the best of the Series 2000 books. I can't see much topping this. Not much. Maybe a couple of books for me, in my own personal taste. But execution-wise, Earth Geeks Must Go, phenomenal read with a phenomenal cover, as I said. If I had to rate this one, Earth Geeks Must Go, on a 5-star basis, I would probably give it a 4 out of 5 stars. This is really good. It's so close to being a 5. I enjoyed the crap out of it. There are some story direction stuff that I think really, really works here that you couldn't really see working in some other Goosebumps books, but the world building for this particular one, it's great. And again, that science fiction nature to it might not be everybody's thing, but even if it's not, for somebody like myself who's not a big sci-fi guy outside of Star Wars, I really love this. I really recommend this to literally all of you. Anyone who can find a copy, you should check it out. It's a really good read. Anyway, 4 out of 5 stars, very close to being a 5. I just don't think it gets there just yet for me. But a 4 out of 5 nonetheless. I think it's fantastic. Recommend it to everyone, as I said over and over again in this review. Have you read Earth Geeks Must Go from the Series 2000 Goosebumps books? Did you love this? Did you hate it? I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments down below. This is one that I think could spark a lot of conversation with how enjoyable it is, maybe how controversial it is, maybe how horrific it can be sometimes. This is a great way to end my week on the Goosebumps rating. Of course, I take the weekends off typically, but on a Friday, I have this book review and another one immediately after it, and this one is definitely better than the other one I read. So, we'll get there in a moment. Anyway, Series 2000, Earth Geeks Must Go. What did you think about it? Put your thoughts and comments down below again. Thank you for watching, guys. 4 out of 5 stars. God bless you. Have a good weekend. Goodbye.